What's good, guys? My name is Peter. Okay, I'm a software developer. Now, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do that. Okay, I just have less than 100 subscribers. I started this channel not long ago. Okay, so you can go ahead and show your boy some love. Okay, so also like this video so that I can get more recommendation. Okay, on Facebook, on YouTube. Okay, and yeah, so today I'm going to be teaching you how to build up a Spring Boot microservice, just a simple Spring Boot microservice, okay, with beautiful APIs, okay, and then we're going to connect our Spring Boot microservice with Docker, okay, container that is going to be running Postgres, okay, so we're going to be running Postgres inside Docker. So we're going to build up a container and connect our application to our database, okay? Yeah, so we're also going to be using ChatGPT to just get some information and also develop some few codes, okay? So I hope you enjoy this video and let's do this. Peace.
The first thing that you need to do is just click here and type ChatGPT. Okay, then you can click on ChatGPT and go to ChatGPT website. Okay, so click on the website. Okay, and down here you can even actually upgrade your plan. Okay, upgrade to plus, and it's only $20 per month. Okay, for you to do an upgrade. Upgrade is much more advanced. GPT 4 is much more advanced. So once you do that, okay, I told you we're gonna be building up our application using ChatGPT. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is that I have this ChatGPT here. So I want you to go ahead and type and say list down tools that you need before working with Spring Boot microservice and their websites. Okay, so the things that you need to install in your computer before working with Spring Boot microservice: number one, we have the Java development kit. We call it as JDK. Okay, now JDK help us when we are doing a compilation of our website. So it's very important for you to be able to download this one. So this Spring Boot requires JDK 8. Now, you don't require JDK 8. At the moment, we have JDK 17 that supports long term. Okay, it's a long term support. Okay, we have right now JDK 20, which I'm not really quite sure if it's long term. I doubt it. Okay, but anytime we have a long term latest JDK that has a long term support, it's better if you download that one. Okay, so for you to download this, you have to just go to Oracle. Oracle is a website that supports Java. Okay, so click on it. I'm gonna show you very quick how to do that. So you're gonna come here depending on the OS that you're using. Okay. Oh, we have JDK 20 over here. Okay. So I think JDK is much better. Okay. Uh, Go straight to, if you're using Linux, Mac, or Windows. For me, I'm using Windows. I'm going to click on Windows. Click on this link here if you want it to be installed in 64. So click on that, download, and then go ahead and install it. Okay, so let's go back again to number two. Number two, you need integrated development environment, which we call IDE. This helps you develop and manage your code efficiently. Okay, now one of the most popular IDEs, we have Eclipse, we have IntelliJ IDEA, we have NetBeans. So the websites are here. You can go ahead and download whichever IDE you're comfortable with. But for most software developers, we always use this IDE here. So if I click on this one, it's going to take me straight to the website. We have 30 days trial available. You can go ahead and download this one. It supports a lot. You can do a lot actually with it. Okay, compared to the community one, which is an open source. and it's open source, so that means it's free. So go ahead and download the 30 days trial which is available. And for you to be able to manage your IDE, I want you just to click on development tool, and I want you to download Toolbox app. Okay, I have it here. This is called a Toolbox app. It's going to manage all your IDEs. Okay, so once you download that and install, it's okay. So the next thing you have to do, we have Spring Tool Suits. Okay, and you can go ahead and download these ones too here. Okay, STS is an Eclipse based IDE. Yes. So once you download Eclipse, you need to also, I think, download this one. Okay. But I don't use Eclipse, so I don't know much about it. I only use IntelliJ IDEA. Okay. So you can skip this one if you're using IntelliJ IDEA. Okay. Then we also have Maven. Okay. Maven and Gradle. Okay, at the moment we will not download this because once you're building up your application, I'm going to show you where you're supposed to select on Maven so that you can be able to install it. Okay, you also have Git. You need to have Git actually, so that you can be able to like store your codes or say, and also be able to change your codes if you want to do some upgrades. Okay, so Git is also a good one. Docker is a must. Okay, Docker is very, very important. It's a containerization platform that allows you to build, ship, and run your Spring Boot application. If you're a software developer and you don't know anything about Docker, I think it's very high time you go ahead and learn this one. So you can click here on that link and then go ahead and download Docker for desktop. Okay, go ahead and download Docker for desktop, and then it's gonna give you um, ways on how you can be able to install it. Make sure you have it installed, okay, because we will need it when you're creating a container for our Postgres. Okay, because we need our application to be connected to our database, so it's very important for you to have that. Okay, so once you have all these, okay, so these are some of the most commonly used tools in Spring Boot development. However, depending on your specific requirements, you may need to use other tools and technologies as well. Correct. Okay. So once you install the requirements needed for you to work with Spring Boot application, now you need to come up with an idea. What idea do you have? What do you want to create? Okay, and if you don't have an idea of what you want to create, you need to come to ChatGPT and type list down 20 Spring Boot microservices that you want to create, and it's gonna list for you 20. You can even say 100, you can even say 50. Okay, and it's gonna break down all the microservices that you can create. Okay, and you can see here we have user management service, we have product catalog service, we have order payment service, we have shipping service, and so many others. Okay, but for me, the application that I want to teach you with is write down a full Spring Boot Java code that is used to build up a healthcare microservices that allows patient to do booking. So this one will allow patients to be able to do booking. Okay, if you're going to the hospital and you need to do a booking, so we're gonna build up a microservice that does that. Okay, so once you do this, it's gonna generate all the codes that you need for you to be able to build this application. But remember, ChatGPT can provide you with codes that you need, okay? But it's very, very, very important, 100% important for you to be able to know how to work with codes, okay? Learn what are classes, learn how interface works, learn how variables work, learn the data structure. You need to learn, actually, you need to learn, okay? For me, I'm doing this because I know what I'm doing. Okay, so I know where to place codes, I know how to change the codes. So it's very, very important just to use these tools for you to be able to learn. Okay, so here is an example of Spring Boot microservice that allows patients to book healthcare application appointments. Okay, so so The first thing that we need to do, let me show you this. There's a page here that I want there's this structure here that I want you to understand. So what we're going to do today is that we will create 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to create 4 layers, okay, where a client will do a HTTP request, okay, and this request can be get, put, post, or delete. Understand? So the control layer will handle the HTTP request. Okay. Then this layer here, it's gonna communicate with the service layer, and the service layer is where we handle all the logics that are needed. Okay. You can even say you can write a method that can say find all students, okay, or find all patients, or find a patient by ID, okay, or delete a patient. All those logics happen here. Okay, then this class here will will be extended to will this class will communicate to this class here, which this is a repository. Okay, this is JPA repository. It extends a class called as JPA repository. Okay, remember, this is not a class, this is an interface that extends JPA repository. Okay, and what happens to this class is that it persists data inside our database, and it also helps us to deal with the logics that are here. So if you want to find a patient by ID, you will go through this one to be able to work with the logics over here. Okay, so it's a very important one. Then what we will do is that we have another layer here, and this class here, we will map this table inside our Postgres. You understand? Because we need a place to store the HTTP request. So what we're gonna do is that we will take this class and map it inside our Postgres using JPA. Understand? So that's what we're gonna do. So our application here, we have this class here that has already been created. Okay, and this is called class patient. Now this is a new model class. It's called a model class, and this is the one that we will use to map it inside our database. Understand? Now it has developed this code that you can see here, but you can go ahead and copy these codes, okay, and paste them, okay. But I have generated when I was practicing how to build this microservice, I had already generated some codes. It's all the same. Those codes are almost the same as this. Okay, so I'm gonna use the previous codes. Okay, so what I want you to do is go straight to Google, and then I want you to type Spring Boot Initializer. Okay, now Spring Boot Initializer will help us to create a project folder. Okay, it's going to help us to create our project folder. Understand? So what I want you to do is that we came down here, we say that our project is going to be Maven. Okay, our project is going to be Maven. Remember, one of the requirements that is needed for you to build up your project is Maven. Okay, if I can go back here. Oh, I lost the work. Okay, so just a minute. Let me click on ChatGPT. Okay, so if I click on here, okay, so if I scroll up, if I go and scroll up here, okay, so we find that one of the requirements for you to be able to create our Spring Boot application is Maven. So that's why we are um, selecting it over here. So we also have the language that we will use is Java. Right now we have Spring Boot 3, okay, and it was launched not long ago. So we're gonna use Spring Boot 3. So I'm gonna go with 3.0.7, okay, or I can also pick 3.0.6. Okay, let me use that one. Then over here, okay, the group name will be let me find it here. So the group name because I'm creating a healthcare application. So the group name here is going to be healthcare application. Okay. Then the artifact ID, this here, I think I'm going to say health care. Okay. Now I know I have a project that I created called healthcare application. So I'm gonna change these and say healthcare app, just like that. Okay. So it's not gonna be the same with the other project that I created. And then this is gonna, the artifact would be healthcare, and the name of this project is gonna be healthcare. Then the description of our application, I wrote it somewhere here. So if I come down here and scroll down, I wrote it down here. I said I need write a one sentence description about the healthcare application. A healthcare application is a software tool designed to improve uh, the delivery, management, and accessibility of healthcare service and information for patient. Okay, all these. Okay, so I think I'm gonna copy this and then I will paste it here. Though it's long, but I think I'm gonna use that one. You can generate description that is shorter than that. Okay, then after that we have what we call packaging. Okay, so we're gonna do our packaging and we're gonna do jar as the package. Okay, and then as we will use this one for packaging. Okay, we'll package our Spring Boot as jar. Then we have Java 20, as I told you. Then I want you to pick up Java 17. Okay, so once you click on that, I want us to go straight to the dependencies. We need dependencies in order to build our application. The first dependency that we will pick is Lombok. Lombok. Okay, this one reduces the boilerplates. Okay. Then number two, we'll have Spring Web because we're creating a Spring Web application. Number four, we have let me see. We also have, I'm going to make my project as simple as possible. Spring Data JPA for persisting data inside our database. So I'm going to use it because over here, I said we will be using JPA. Okay, Spring Data JPA to persist data inside our database. Then after that, I'm going to look for Postgres data. Okay, Postgres database. There you go. Let's pick up Postgres drivers. Do we have something else that we need? Postgres drivers. And then also we need to select, I think nothing else. Okay. MongoDB for messaging, not now. Okay. I will also teach you how to work with messaging when we are using RabbitMQ. Okay. I think these are the things that we need at the moment. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna click on generate to be able to generate my project inside my desktop on my computer. Okay, so I'll click here and then I'll say always open open the file. So we have this file here. Okay, and we need to extract the file. Okay, so I'm gonna click here and then click healthcare. And then I'm gonna click on extract all, and I'm gonna extract it on my desktop. Okay, so select, so extract. So healthcare, yeah. So extract. Just a minute. I'm trying to extract all. So click on extract. Good. So I have already extracted the project in my desktop. Okay, so if I scroll down here, I have healthcare here. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna upload inside my IDE. So once we are done, the next thing is that I want you to use this toolbox here. I want you to open up IDE, the one that you just installed. Okay, so give it some minute for it to open up. So I want you to open the project by clicking up here, open. Then the project is in the desktop. Okay, so I want you to scroll down. This is the project. Click on OK. I trust this folder. Then give it some time for it to be able to uh, be downloaded and uploaded, I mean, inside our IDE. Okay, so give it some time. So as it goes on to upload, so we have this pom.xml here. So if I click on this pom.xml here, okay, this is an XML file, okay, that has the model version of 4.0.0. Then we also know that this is a parent module and the group ID Spring Boot, okay, and then this is the version over here, okay, 3.0.7, okay. Let me see if this is mhm. So I think I uploaded the wrong one, but I'm gonna delete this in here. Yeah, so yeah, so this is our folder. Okay, so as you can see, we have the 3.0.7 as the version that we are using. I think I took 3.0.6. I think this is not the correct folder. Let me close here. Let me look for the correct one because my folder was 3.0.6. That's the version of Spring Boot that I was using. Okay, so I have I created that kind of project not long ago. So I think that's where the confusion is coming in. So let me see. We have healthcare and healthcare. So just give me a minute. Let me confirm where my folder is. Okay. Then I'm gonna come back. Okay, it's okay. What I'm gonna do is this. Okay. So to avoid that, so instead of saying healthcare, I'm gonna write health. That's much better. Okay. Then I'm gonna click on generate. Okay, and it's gonna generate a project called health. Okay, so I will click here, open when done. Okay, then I'm gonna go straight to my downloads and then I'm gonna extract this and I'm gonna extract it in my desktop. Okay, so close and go straight to your desktop. So I think now I can be able to locate where the application is. And this is it here. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to click on OK, trust this folder. Then I'm going to upload it inside my project. Okay, inside my IDE, not my project. So we have this pom.xml. As I said, this is a model version is 4.0.0. Then we have the parent module and the group ID is Spring Boot, and now this is the version that we have 3.0.6 because over here we said it's gonna be 3.0.6. Then after that we have that the group ID is healthcare, artifact is health. Okay, this is the description that we created. Okay, and we are using Java 17. Okay, then inside here we have the dependencies that we uploaded. Okay, as you can see, we have these dependencies here. We have Spring Web, Spring JPA, and Postgres driver. So Spring Data JPA is used to persist data. This one, because we are creating a web application. This one is because we're gonna connect our application to our database, and this one reduces the boilerplates. Okay, then after that, we need to do the tests. We will run some tests and the folder is down here, test. Okay, we will test our application. Then this is the built-in plugin over there. Okay, yeah, that's it. So once we do that, okay, the next step is that I want you to open up your folder. Then inside the SLC, and then inside main, and then inside Java, we have this package here called healthcare application. For you to create a package, you must make sure that you organize your work correctly. So we have folder. Inside the folder, we have package, and inside this package, you have classes. For you to create a package, you need to right click here to Java, and then down here create a package. Okay, and then you'll create a package. You write the name of the package here. Then we have our first class here as health application. So this one here is the main entrance part of our application. For you to be able to run your application and to compile your application, this class here is very important and you need to have it. So the name of the class is healthcare application, and then we have this annotation called the Spring Boot application, and we have a method here, and the name of the method is main, and it's void. Okay, and this comes from the package healthcare app.health. Okay, great. Okay, and these are just some classes that have been installed. Okay, showing that where these some of the classes are coming from. Okay, great. Then after that, let's go ahead and build our application. Okay, now our application will have three layers. We'll have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Actually, let's create 4 layers. Okay, and the first one is gonna be, if you want to create a class, you right click, go to new, then Java, and then the first application, we will call it as appointment. Okay, so that's gonna be our first class. We will call this class appointment, and then I'm gonna click on this class and enter. Then we have the first class here. Let's pick up the next one, and then the next one will be Java. Okay, and then I'm gonna call it appointment controller. Okay, the next class is gonna be appointment controller. Okay, there you go. Then I'm gonna create another class here, and this class here is gonna be appointment service. Okay, so I'm gonna copy and paste, and I'm gonna call it appointment service. And then I'm gonna create another. I'm not right now. I'm not gonna create a class, but I'll create an interface. Okay, and this interface, I'll call it appointment repository. Control C. So appointment repository. Okay, and then I'm gonna click on enter. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we have this one here. We have we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and write some codes over here. So this class, the name is appointment, and we will create a table here that is gonna be mapped inside our database. Okay, and what we have to do here, I'm gonna copy some codes and paste, then I'll take some time to explain the codes. So I will copy this, and these codes will have some explanations so that you can be able to understand. So the first line of code here, this line indicates that the following variable is a primary key, okay, of the entity. This one here, okay, is the primary key. Okay, and then we have this line here indicates that the value of the primary key will be automatically generated. So that means we will automatically generate this ID here. I'm going to show you how that will happen. Okay, then we have these properties here. Now, these properties here will be mapped in our database because we need information about the patient. Okay, remember this is the appointment. So the information that you get from the patient is start time, the time that your appointment will start, end time, ending time of your appointment, and then the patient name. Understand? And then you can see that we have some red marks here because we need to install the classes. So if I click here, I will import the class. Okay, and you see that the class has been imported from this path here. So if I click here too, I will import the class, import the class. And we'll import the class called local date time. Okay, local date time. Okay, good. Now, once you do that, up here, because you want to map this one inside our database, we're gonna use what we call at entity. Okay, so entity. There you go. So as you can see, if I click at entity, you see that we have a something that looks like a database here. So this shows entity action. So this one shows that this information here, these properties here will be mapped inside our database once we configure our database. Then we have this as our primary key, as I said, and this one will be automatically generated. Okay. Then after that, we need also to have the name of our table inside the database. So the name of our table is gonna be name. We're gonna say name, and then we'll call this table appointment. So I'll copy this, but I'm gonna paste this, and then I'll use small letters here, just like that. So this is appointment. Okay, then the next thing we know is that down here we have getters and setters are automatically generated by Lombok annotation at the top. Remember, we use Lombok to reduce the boilerplate, to reduce us writing bunch on bunch of codes. Okay, the codes that we don't need. Now listen, if we needed the getters and the setters, we could have gone on and wrote them down here. Okay, but because we just need to map this table inside our database, we don't need the getters and the setters. What are getters and setters used for? Getters and setters are used when this class here is going to be used outside. Understand? If you're using this class outside, then you use getters and setters. Right now, we're not using this class outside. So what I'm going to do, I'll come up here and type no. Okay, we can say at getters, they will be automatically generated at getter. Okay, and then we're gonna say at Lombok. No, at setters. I'm sorry, at setters over there. And then we also have what we call no args constructor. Okay, because we can also go ahead and write the args constructor, but no args constructor, make sure it's there. Okay, so and then we also gonna say all args constructor, all args constructor. Okay, all args constructor. So these all args constructors are written down here. Okay, good, but we don't need them at the moment, so there's no need to write them. So they are automatically generated once we annotate this class with this information over here. So I think that's it for this class at the moment. Oh, and also I forgot the toString. Okay, just go ahead and type toString. Okay, toString. There you go. Okay, I think that's it for now. Okay, then let's go ahead and we will map this class later on. Okay, in our database. So don't worry. Let's go to the appointment controller now. This appointment controller class here handles HTTP requests. So we're going to write some HTTP requests for get mapping, put mapping, post mapping, and delete mapping. Okay. So for us to do that, we need to come here and type, we're going to type here REST controller. We're going to type here REST controller. Okay. And also we're going to go ahead and type request mapping here. Okay, and then inside this request mapping, I'm gonna write slash, and then it's gonna be appointment. Sorry, when I say appoint, sorry. Okay, appointments. I have so much going on here. That's why I'm typing slow. Okay, so we have appointments. Now, what does these two classes, these two annotation do? So a REST controller, okay, a REST controller that handles appointments, it handles appointments, okay, and maps the URL, maps this URL here. Okay, it maps this URL here. That's why we're saying request mapping. It maps this URL here with the appropriate HTTP request methods. So we will write down here some HTTP request methods. So this one maps the URL with the appropriate HTTP request methods. Okay, that's where we have these two over here. Okay, then after that, we have this service class here, appointment service class over here. Okay, so this, what will happen here, we're gonna type private. Okay, and then we're gonna say appointment service. We are injecting this class here called appointment service inside our appointment controller so that we can be able to connect to our appointment service. So you say inject. Okay, so you can say private appointment service, and then we're injecting that class there. And then this one we're gonna uh use outer wire, so that you can be able to connect to this class over here. So once we do that, okay, so this instance here, let me now explain. So this instance here of appointment service is automatically injected by Spring Boot dependency, okay, injection framework. Okay, by Spring Boot dependency injection framework. Okay, then after that, um we need to write down some HTTP request to retrieve all appointments. Okay, so we're going to write some HTTP request to retrieve all appointments, and for us to do that, we need to write this code over here. Now this code here is called get mapping. Understand? This get mapping is used to retrieve all appointments. Get all appointments. Understand? And then let me go ahead and import this class, and also import this class here called list, because it's going to give us a list of appointments. These appointments are this one here. Okay, and if we have 10 appointments, it's going to get all the appointments. And then after that, we need to create a method inside our appointment service that will handle this get all appointments. Understand? And for us to do that, we need to go back here to appointment service here, and we need to annotate this appointment service with at, okay, service. So if we annotate it with at service, we had error here, and you see that the error has disappeared. Okay, because we have annotated this with that service, meaning this is a service class. Okay, then after that, we're gonna write a method down here. Okay, we're gonna write a method that will help us generate all the students, I mean all the appointments. So if I this is gonna be our method here. We're gonna Let me import this list over here, just like that. And then what we are doing is that we are creating a method here. Okay, so let me go back again here. We have this control, we have this get mapping. This get mapping is this one here. Okay, we have done a HTTP request to our service layer. Okay, and we are asking our service layer to get all appointments from the database. So once we do this, okay, okay, we want to connect this method here, okay, to our appointment repository here. Okay, so that we can be able to get data from Postgres. So what we have to do is that we need to come back over here, and then up here I'm gonna go ahead and say private. Okay, I'm gonna say private. Okay, and then I'm gonna say final. Okay, and then I'm gonna say appointment. I'll copy this here. Okay, I'll copy this. Okay, copy, and then appointment This is going to be appointment repository, which is this one here. And then we'll have, uh, sorry, I don't know what I just did there. Okay. Appointment repository. This is the appointment repository class here. Okay. And what we are doing is that we are injecting, okay, this class in our appointment service. Okay. So that we can be able to do what we call find all. And for us to find all students, we have to come back again to our repository over here. And this interface will extend JPA, okay, JPA repository. Now this JPA repository is this one here, okay, this one here, JPA repository, that will help us to persist data. So in this JPA repository, we're gonna use this class here called appointment, because this is where we want to get our data from. Okay, then we're gonna write it here, and also we're gonna use what we call this long here, this long here, this long there. So you click on it and then bring it back over here, just like that. Okay, then you need to annotate this with at repository. Okay, this is all we need so that we can be able to persist data inside our database. Interface appointment repository extends JPA repository, and then inside here we have appointment and then the ID, which is long here. So if I click back here, I have private final appointment. I think the name is not correct. Let's see. Let me copy this class here. And then let me go back again to this class here. I think the class is not correct. So let me click on that. And then I'm going to say appointment repository. Oh, okay. Let me see. Add a constructor. Okay, add constructors. There you go. Okay, we actually need to add a constructor here. Okay, and that's what we have done. We just added a constructor, and we need to auto wire this constructor and auto wire this constructor just like that. Okay, so what does this constructor do? Okay, so this constructor here, let me copy it like that. This constructor, okay, this constructor is used to create an instance of appointment service and inject appointment repository, okay, object. Understand? And inject appointment repository object. And then on top here, we have this private final appointment repository. It's defining the final appointment repository object. It's defining the final appointment repository object. That's what this thing is doing here. Understand? Then after that, we have our method. Okay, and we're good to go. Understand? So let's go back again to our HTTP request, and we want to handle these three. We have put, post, and delete. We need to handle those three. Okay, so for me, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy some codes and then I'll paste them there. So I'm gonna come back to class controller. Okay, and then I'm gonna copy these codes here. Okay, and then I'm gonna use these codes. Okay, so I'll explain everything that I do here. Okay, so I'll copy. Okay, and then I'm gonna post everything there. So what I'll do is that I will import these classes. I'm not gonna do exception handling. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. So I'll import that class. I will also create a method inside our get our appointment repository to handle this get appointment by ID. So I'm gonna come back here and then I'm gonna create a method to handle that. Okay, so all I'm doing is just copy and pasting because I know what the codes are doing, and I had already generated them from my ChatGPT. Okay, so this one will handle that. Okay, uh, get mapping. Yeah, get appointment by ID. There you go. Okay, and then also fix this error. It's gonna be like that. Okay, then here let's create appointment, and once you create this we need to save this inside our database. So I'm gonna go ahead, copy, and then I want to go ahead and save this inside our database. So where we are, there you go. So I will go ahead and save that inside our database. Then I'm gonna do a delete. Okay, delete appointment. As you can see here, we have delete mapping. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add this method that deletes, okay, our appointment. Okay, so yeah, so there we go. So I think this is it. So very quick, in just in a nutshell. So what we have done here is that we have added get mapping by ID, where we only sometimes need to get appointment by ID, and then we've created a method here on how we can do that. Okay, so we have also uh, we did also post mapping, where you can now post, you can do a HTTP post request to create a new appointment for a patient, okay, inside our database. And also we have done HTTP delete request to delete the appointment by ID. Now this one here is this one here, okay, that handles delete. Okay, so this is our service class. So let me explain one more time. This appointment controller is this one here. Okay, we have connected it to the service layer. This service layer here will handle these logics here. These are logics here. It's going to handle these methods here. Okay, then this appointment service is going to connect to JPA. Okay, it's going to connect to this CRUD, to this interface here. Okay, and this interface will help us persist data inside our database. Then this table here, through JPA, we are able to create we are able to map it in our database. So as you can see, we have this JPA repository here. Okay, and we have appointment class, which is this one here, together with the long ID here. Okay, good. Then once you do that, come down here. Okay, close this part and open the resources. And then down here, we have what we call application.property. Now, this is a configuration that will help us to set our port, okay, for Tomcat, and also help us to with a URL that will be able to connect to our database. Okay, so I want you to change this from application.property to application.yaml. So this is going to be a YAML file. Okay, so YAML file, then sorry, it's going to be a YAML file. Okay, click on reflect. Okay, refactor, I mean. So open this file and it's empty. So what I want us to do is you can actually paste the same YAML file. You can go ahead and paste the same YAML file here. The YAML file that I have is the same that you need to go and copy and paste. We have it here. So we have that our server is running at port 8080. Okay. And we also understand that this is a Spring application and the name is appointment. We also have the Postgres drivers over here. And then we also have our URL that is running on localhost 5432. Okay, this is the one that will help us to connect to our database. And then our database name is hospital. We have the username, which is Postgres. We have also the password. Okay, so we have create and drop. This means that anytime we start our project, we'll be losing the data. Okay, and if you don't want to lose data inside your database, you can change this from create and drop to update. But because we are still practicing, just put it as create and drop. Then we have our dialect, this which is Postgres dialect, and then format as which will be true. Show SQL, this is gonna be show some logs inside our once we run our project. Okay, so this is what you need to have for the moment. Okay, so once you configure this, let's go ahead and configure our database. Okay, and one thing that you have to understand is that we will create a Docker container, and this Docker container will run Postgres. Okay, then we will also create a network that will help us to connect our database, okay, to our application. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that over here. Okay, and then I want you to type Docker. Okay, click on Docker. That's it. So click on Docker. So this is gonna bring you to Docker website. Just click on here. Actually, you can type and say Docker download. Okay. So this is gonna bring you to a download website. Okay. Docker desktop. Okay, and you can go ahead and download Docker desktop over here. Okay, you can also download for Apple, Linux, and Intel. Okay, just click on here and download. Okay, so once you download, go ahead and follow the instructions and install Docker inside your machine. Okay, so let's go back again here. Install Docker desktop for Windows. Okay, so I think this is the best website for you to be able to download Docker desktop. Okay, so what you do is you're gonna type Docker desktop and then come down here to install Docker desktop for Windows. So once you click on that, it's gonna bring you to this website where you can click on Docker desktop for Windows. Okay, or you can also do the same thing I did with the other website. Okay, and it's gonna download. So I'm gonna click on cancel because I don't want to download it because I have Docker already installed. So go ahead and follow the same steps. Okay, and download and install Docker inside your machine. Okay, you can also use command line for installation where you can say Docker desktop installer. Okay, and then copy this, okay, and paste it inside your terminal, okay, for it to go ahead and install Docker. Okay, so for more information about how to install Docker, you can go ahead and read this documentation here, and it's going to show you how to do that. So once you install, and if I click here, this is Windows. If you click down here on Windows, you're going to see Docker desktop already installed in your computer. Okay, so if I click also here, if I type Docker, okay, in my computer, I'm gonna see it here. Okay, so what I want you to do is go ahead and open Docker. Okay, go ahead and open Docker. Yes, it's gonna take time actually for it to open up. Okay, so go ahead and open Docker. Giving it some time for it to open up. Okay, so yeah, there we go. So this is Docker, which the Docker is starting. Okay, so there you go. Okay, this is my Docker because I've been running some containers inside Docker. Okay, so these some of the containers that I've been running. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna create a network, a container. Okay, we're gonna create a container inside our Docker, and we're gonna run Postgres. Okay, there you go. This is it. Okay, so what I want you to do is I'm gonna click here. Uh, so Postgres running on Docker. Okay. In this step, we need to connect our application to a real database so we can be able to persist some data. Okay. Since we have Docker installed, we've just done that. Okay. Please go ahead and make it run. Okay, we are going to run Docker container that spins up database. Okay, after that, run a Docker container to connect to our database. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so if you come down here to Postgres container, okay, make sure you have Docker installed, okay, in your machine. Okay, and to check what version is your Docker, navigate to your terminal and type docker dash 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 version. Okay, and that's what we're gonna do. So what I'm gonna do is I'll come here and type docker and then dash 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 version, and it's going to show me the version that I have for Docker. As you can see, there you go. So we have, this is the Docker version over here. Okay, so that's the first step. Okay, make sure that the Docker is already installed inside your database. Then after that, first thing you need to do is to create Docker network, and the name it as DB. Okay, navigate to your terminal and type docker network create DB. Understand? Now, this one thing that you have to understand, since I have it already created over here. Okay, I created the network already. This is a container. Okay, I created the network already. So what I want you to do is that I'm gonna choose a different name for DB because I have it. Okay, for the sake of explaining how to do that, I'm gonna just name it differently. I'm not gonna name it DB. So I'm gonna say Docker, okay, network. You can name it any way you want. Okay, you can just name it any way you want. So Docker network create and then DB. Okay, I'm changing that and I'm gonna say Docker network create data. Okay, I'm gonna just say datas. Okay, because I don't have a network called datas. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna expand this and I'm gonna click on that, and it's gonna create this network here. Okay, so this is the network here. Okay, so once you do that, okay, the next thing you have to do, if you want to delete, you can say docker network rm, the name of the network, which is DB. Okay, but I don't want to at the moment I don't want to delete the network. Okay, but if you want to delete the network, this is how you do it. Okay, then after that, in this case, we want to create a network called DB. We don't want to delete it, so go ahead and do this step. We are going to run docker container for Postgres. Now, before executing any command, create a folder in your desktop called DB. Remember, this here, you can name that folder anything that you want. It doesn't have to be exactly this. Okay, so you can name it any way, anyhow that you want. But for me, I have named it as Docker DB data. This is my folder name. Okay, so yours can change. Okay, then after that, in the desktop, navigate inside the folder that you just created. So we're gonna navigate inside the folder that we just created. Okay, so I'm gonna say cd and then desktop. Okay, so I'm gonna make this bigger. Okay, cd desktop. So I'm going to click on that. Then I'll check and see if the folder is inside my desktop by clicking ls, and it's going to list all the folders that are in my desktop. And as I scroll up, I will see the folder that I created is over here, DB data. So I'm gonna copy that one, and then I'm gonna come here and say CD. Okay, CD, and then I'm gonna paste DB data. So once I do that, I'm inside the DB data. Now, once you're inside the DB data, there is a code that I want you to run. Okay, so the thing that you have to do is run the Postgres data inside the DB data folder. Okay, so we want to run Postgres data inside the DB data folder. So what you need to do, okay, if you're using Mac, okay, this is the code. Actually, let me call it, this is the code that you need to run. Okay, where we have this code here with pwd. If you're running your if you're using Mac, okay, you can use this code over here. But if you're running PC, okay, so window users, okay, you will use this one here, okay, instead of pwd. So instead of pwd, we're gonna use this one here. Okay, but I came to realize me using this one here, it doesn't really work. Okay, it doesn't really work. So what I'm gonna do is this. Okay, what I'm gonna do is this is supposed to be the path of your folder that you created. Okay, so instead of writing this one here, let's copy the path of our folder that we created and paste it here. So that's what I'm gonna do. So what I'm gonna do is that I will copy this just like that. I'm just gonna copy it like that. Okay, then I'm gonna go straight to my terminal and I'm gonna post this there, but I will have to change this one here to the path. So what I'm gonna do is that I will have to check where the path of the path of my folder. Just give me a minute. So cd desktop, chttp desktop. Good. So I'm gonna replace this, and actually to get the path of your folder, you just have to go click property and then come and look for that. This is the location of your folder. Okay, so you just have to copy this, and then I'm gonna close that. Then I will go straight over here. Okay, and then I'm gonna paste the path of my folder over here. You see that? Okay, so what's happening here, let me explain this. So we say docker run, then dash dash the name of our network, and remember the name of our network was what did I say the name of my network is? Let me go up, let me check. So I created a docker network called datas. So this one here is what you need to write over here. So what I'm gonna do is that we'll come here and then I'm gonna type datas, just like that. Then we have -p. Okay, and then I'm going to explain all this in a minute. Okay, I'm going to explain everything you see here in a minute. I'm just fast doing some changes. Then network is going to be datas, just like that. Okay, and then after that, when I click down here, okay, when I click down here, just like that, it's gonna create actually Postgres, okay, inside our DB data. So if I bring my DB data over here, if I bring my DB data here, let me show you. So if I bring my DB data here, this is the folder that I have called DB data. So if I bring it here, just give me a minute. Let me look for it. Oh, I lost it. Oh, here it is. Okay. So if I open it, you see we have Postgres has been created. You see we have you'll find this folder inside your DB data. Once you run that command, you will find all of these inside your DB data. Okay. So the thing that you have to do is uh, go back to your terminal. Okay, so we have created the Postgres, okay, inside our folder. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is to connect to DB using a PSQL container. So we want to use PSQL to connect to our Postgres container through our network. Okay, so the way we do that is to type this command here: docker run, okay, minus it minus irm minus the network dash dash. I'm sorry, I'm saying minus, but it's supposed to be dash dash. Okay, so we also have dash dash network, which is equals to the name of the network, and then this is the Postgres. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this. Okay, just go ahead and copy this. Then after that, what we will do is we will go back to our terminal, and then we're gonna paste this here. So we're gonna paste this here, but we will not run this command until we change this to data, just like that. Okay, and then we also have to change this to data, just like that. So once we do that, we have to run our Postgres, and you just click enter. And then once you run that, so once you run that code, look, it's gonna show you this. Okay, it's gonna show you a password for user Postgres. So remember, in our application here, we say that the password is gonna be password. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is that I'll come down here and type password. Okay, so that means I'm accessed. Okay, and I'm inside my Postgres. So what I'm gonna do, I'll just click on Control and C. No, I mean Control L to delete everything. Okay, to create a new to delete the rest. Okay, so let's go ahead. So what I want to do is I want to create. Okay, create, okay, database, okay, and then the database name is gonna be the hospital here. Okay, but I have already created that one already, so I'm gonna type hospital. Okay, and then I'm gonna put some, and then I'm gonna click. You see, it's gonna tell me that hospital already exists because I have this database already. So for you, if you don't have that database, go ahead and create. And then after that, I want you to click on /c and then connect to hospital database, just like that. So it's gonna say you're now connected to database hospital as user Postgres. So that means your Spring Boot application is connected to Postgres. Understand? So to prove that, I'm gonna run this application that I've created. I'm gonna run it. Click up here so you can run your application. Okay, so I'm gonna run my application, and there you go. So you can see I have created a table, okay, inside my database. Okay, this is beautiful, this is nice. Okay, and also you can see that the 8080 is over here, and we are running Tomcat at port 8080, which is over here. Okay, good. And also everything looks good. Okay, and also we have Postgres dialect that has been started. Okay, Postgres over here. Okay, and then we have created the table, and yeah, that's it. Then we also have uh Tomcat started at port 8080. Okay, so that's awesome. So let's go back again to our terminal, and I want us to write select, okay, star from what from let's go back again to our classes over here. Okay, so if I click on this appointment, I told you that we created a table, okay, inside our database, and the name of the table is appointment. So I'll copy that, okay, and then come back here and say select star from appointment. Okay, and once I click, there you go. So we have this ID that is the primary key generated automatically. We have the end time, we have the patient name, and then we have the start time. Okay, so if I come back again to my projects, we have this one here. We have the start time, the end time, and the patient name, and this is a table that has been created inside our database. So let's go ahead and persist some data to see if we will be able to send some data, and save it inside our database. And for us to do that, we're going to use what we call Postman. Okay, so Postman is a testing application that is used to test if our application is working, if the APIs are working. Okay, so if I click here, okay, and then click on, we are posting. Okay, so we are doing a post. So if I go back again to my controller, so we have this HTTP request here. So what we're going to do is we will do a post mapping for a patient. Understand? Okay, so we're going to have some details. Okay, and the details that we need are these details here: start time, end time, and patient. So what I'm going to do is that I will copy this. Okay, copy. Then what I'm going to do is that I will come back to my ChatGPT. Okay, and I'm going to say create a JSON for the following properties. Okay, properties to test using Postman. So then I'm gonna click that one. I'm gonna paste the properties. So if I click here, and it's gonna create a JSON. There you go. So it's gonna create a start time, it's gonna create an end time, and the patient name. So let's say the patient name is John Doe. So I want you to copy that one, come back to your Postman. Okay, then click on body. Okay, and then go straight to this JSON and click on JSON. I have it already here, so I'm gonna post. So this information is what I'm gonna post inside my is what I'm gonna post inside my database. Understand? Then here we have post, we have get, we have put, and we have delete. Okay, so you can either test if you want to get, if you want to do a post mapping, you can do that. If you want to do a put or a delete, you can also do that. Okay, so this is the HTTP. We have HTTP localhost 8080. That's where our Spring Boot is running on. And then we have this appointment here. This appointment is the one that we have here. This is our point. Sorry, go back again to our controller. So this is the appointment that we have here. Okay, and since we are doing post mapping, so we're gonna type patient over here. Okay, so what we have to do is that we will just type patient here. Okay, so this is gonna be the HTTP for us to be able to do a post mapping. Understand? So what I'm gonna do is that I will click on send. Click on send. Very good. So if you see this 200, this means that your HTTP request was successful. So that means you were able to send this JSON inside our Spring Boot and to our database. Understand? So if I just minimize that, and come over here, you will see that the moment we did a post mapping, this information was sent inside our database. These are the logs over here. So if I go back again to my terminal and type select star from appointment and click enter, you will see that we'll have ID1, end time, we have it here, patient name is John Doe, and start time is this. Okay, so what I told you is that this ID automatically generates itself. When you come down here to our appointment and come down here, we say that this line indicates that the value of the primary key will automatically generate itself. Understand? So in our postman over here, we don't have that ID. Understand? Because it will generate itself. So let's see. So if I type here John Doe and then say John Doe 1 and then click on send. Okay, if I come back here, if I come back to my Springboard, you will see we have another log here. So this means that we sent JSON number 2 inside our database. So if I come back here and say select star from appointment and click that, you see we have, it has automatically generated the key. We have 2 again. Understand? So it's gonna go ahead generating automatically the ID, and then we have John Doe 1 over here. Understand? So if I come back to my application.yaml here, I say that this one here is update. This is an update over here. We say this is update. Understand? So if I run my application again, if I run my application again, okay, the data that I persisted inside my database will remain intact. So if I come back here and click this command, and you will see that my data will remain intact even though I have restarted my application. But if I come here and change this to create and drop, anytime I start my application, I'm gonna lose this information over here. And this is good when you're testing your application. Okay, so I recommend you to use this create and drop when testing application. So if I come and run this application here, so if I come and run it one more time, okay, so if I do that and come back again here and type this command and click, you see that I lost my information. Okay, so that's why we do create and drop. Okay
guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned a lot. Okay, more videos are coming soon. Okay, so please make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Okay, and then I'm gonna see you on my next video. Thank you so much. Adios. Bye bye. I'm out.